If you're a diabetic or want to know about diabetes, the two words insulin sensitivity and resistance must be well understood to know for understanding and control diabetes. Insulin resistance and insulin sensitivity are two sides of the same coin. If you have insulin resistance, you have a low insulin sensitivity. Conversely, if you are sensitive to insulin, you have low insulin resistance. While insulin resistance is harmful to your health, insulin sensitivity is beneficial as found in non-diabetics. Your insulin sensitivity determines the amount of insulin your body needs to maintain healthy blood sugar levels. The more severe your body's insulin resistance is, the less sensitive to insulin you are. When you have insulin resistance, your cells do not respond to insulin properly. Insulin is a hormone that moves any rich glucose from the foods you eat into your cells. So this resistance leaves you feeling low on energy, hungry, and at risk of developing type 2 diabetes. How do you reverse insulin resistance in prediabetes? Long hours pounding the pavement or the treadmill can increase the amount of cortisol you release and make you more resistant to insulin. Instead, lift weights or try high impact interval training to improve your metabolic profile in your body. It's all down to a hormone called cortisol. Let's discuss the relationship between high cortisol and insulin resistance. Cortisol is a steroid hormone that is produced by the adrenal glands, which sits on top of each kidney. It is released when the body is subject to stress or danger. Stress can lead to high cortisol and insulin resistance and high blood sugar levels by interfering with insulin action via several mechanisms, including the direct inhibition of insulin from the pancreas, impaired glucose uptake in the liver, and disruption of insulin signaling in the muscles. A slow, steady walk for a few hours a day at intervals will produce less cortisol, and you are more likely to be insulin sensitive to maintain a normal blood sugar range. Physical activity and losing weight if you need to may help your body respond better to insulin. Taking small steps such as eating healthier foods and moving more to lose weight can help reverse insulin resistance and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes in people with prediabetes. Exercise really is the best way to become more insulin sensitive, as much muscle contractions increase the glucose receptors on your cell walls, allowing more glucose to be utilized as energy. Non-diabetics have very low or no insulin resistance, and their blood sugar levels are well maintained at healthy levels. Diabetics have various levels of insulin resistance, and blood sugar levels need to be controlled with diet, exercise, medication, and keeping your weight within the normal range for your age. In a normal non-diabetic person, the pancreas well controls the requirements of insulin to control your blood sugar level. As soon as dietary carbs are digested and absorbed as glucose or fructose from fruits in the gut, the blood sugar tends to rise from the fasting 5.5 millimoles per liter within the first hour over 8 millimoles per liter by signaling the pancreas to produce more insulin. The pancreas starts working by producing insulin into the bloodstream to courier the blood sugar to the liver and muscles and stores sites like fat cells, bringing down the blood sugar level within 2 to 3 hours. In a person having diabetes, this normal mechanism may not work due to the resistance of the insulin secreted by the pancreas, thereby seeming to keep the blood sugar raised without dropping. Insulin resistance is a precursor to type 2 diabetes. This is due to insulin resistance when normal concentration of insulin produces less than normal biological response. In insulin resistance, there is a buildup of glucose in your blood, and the pancreas tries to cope by producing more insulin. People with insulin resistance are often producing too much insulin than healthy people. People having insulin resistance cannot handle common levels of carbohydrates in their diet. They need to oversecrete insulin in response to eating carbs, and they are less likely to feel satisfied after a meal, therefore tend to overeat. That means carbohydrates needs to be restricted in the diet to reduce insulin resistance that increases your dietary blood sugar. As a consequence, people with insulin resistance tend to eat more food and put on weight. Therefore, losing weight is important to make your insulin more sensitive. Typically, the leaner and more active a person, the more sensitive their cells are to insulin, known as insulin sensitivity. This means they need less insulin to move glucose out of their bloodstream. This is one reason why fit people tolerate carbs better than sedentary folks. They usually even benefit from more carbs to aid performance and recovery. People who are obese, particularly those with higher amounts of visceral fat, the deep abdominal fat that surrounds several vital organs, are more likely to be insulin resistant. Losing weight, excess body fat in such people often resolves insulin resistance. How can you become insulin sensitive when you have an insulin resistant problem? Exercise really is the best way to become insulin sensitive, as muscle contractions increase the glucose receptors on your cell walls, allowing more sugar in to be utilized as energy instead of it just ending up going into storage as fat. Eat a plant-based high-protein diet, exercise daily, and you can make your insulin-resistant situation into a more insulin-sensitive situation. Then you may be able to get rid of your anti-diabetic drugs. In conclusion, if you have diabetes, you have an insulin-resistant problem. By eating a sensible low-carb diet with daily exercise and losing weight, you can revert your insulin resistance to an insulin-sensitive situation. That is how you revert your diabetes situation to a non-diabetic one. You cannot cure diabetes, but you can reverse it. Hope you will benefit from this video talk. Stay safe and goodbye for now.